Shriver to serve here to get us started. Pam Shriver, she'll be the first to admit it, has had a lousy year, at least a lousy first half of the year. Didn't dedicate herself like she normally done in the past, she says. Starts off with a big service winner.
And her serve is the key, too. She said yesterday after her quarterfinal win that she had served the best yesterday that she has in the past 2 years. So she must be feeling confident with it.
Ooh, I hate to see that. She didn't even get her knees down.
Right at her feet, and she was not there and set to play it.
Sabatini returned so well.
That was such a difficult shot by Pam. She had it on the top of the bounce and barely gave it time to prepare herself or get her feet into position, and she made a beautiful shot.
Pam is a real smart cookie, though. She knows she lets that ball drop, she's in trouble, especially when she's out of court.
She'll work here on her second serve. Pam Shriver, and career earnings over the $4 million mark, $121,000 this year. Saw Gabriela Sabatini working on that stroke time and time again in a 45-minute practice session prior to this match. She's already pulled it out.
You know, it was interesting that her coach was standing at the service line on the other side serving balls at her, so it would come at a lot quicker pace. Gives her early preparation.
And he's out.
Vic, I'd just like to ask you back to your picks on the intangibles you gave me to Sabatini, and I'm curious because Pam Shriver is the veteran. She has a lot more experience. Why did you do that?
Why did I give the intangibles to her? Only because Sabatini has been getting into a lot of semifinals and finals of major events. And when you get into semifinals and finals of major events, you learn a lot of new things. And you all of a sudden realize, hey, I can play, I can be behind, I can come back. And I've been remembering that she's been playing Steffi Graf and the best players in the world a lot. And that's why I gave it to her.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help?
That answers my question, thanks.
That's so tough.
Oh, very fine. Cross court. Pam Shriver holds serve. And we are underway at what probably be an interesting match. Shriver and Sabatini. International, Bosch and Lom, and the Italian Open. Boy, she put together a string earlier this year, winning the Lipton. She beat Chris Evert, Martina Navratilova, and Steffi Graf in back-to-back weekends.
Well, I say it's going to be the service return that's going to make the difference right here. And that did not give me a good feeling. If Pam gets second serves, I think she should go on 100 out of 100.
Sabatini trying to work Shriver across that baseline, but couldn't get the backhand to work for her.
Well, that was certainly a beautiful point. Shriver was covering a lot of ground there, and I think she can't afford to stay in the background. She's got to get to the net or she'll tire out.
Well, she came in, but Sabatini, in effect, passed her from way back at the baseline.
But a late decision. You can't make a decision to come in against Sabatini on a shot like this. No, that's too late. Her ball dips so fast.
Boy, you can see the effect of, as you say, Vic, that topspin. 40-30. Sabatini still looking for her first Grand Slam championship. That's really her goal now. Shriver in, but pops it wide, and Sabatini holds her serve, so both players have held on their opening forays from the service line. We're at 1-all.
Well, when Sabatini hits that ball and it dips so much, we did a lot of studies. Your eyes have to work overtime trying to hit a volley coming off of that dipping ball.
It's especially tough at Pam's height because she has to bend so low just to get down to it.
Ooh.
Called a fault.
Look out.
Pam Shriver an even 6 feet. Good second serve for an ace. Did she have a hook on that?
I want to ask you a question, Lisa. As you see this replay with his big serve, has Gabriela lost some weight?
I think so. I said at the top of the telecast that she's really been working on her conditioning. And I think she's matured into a beautiful young woman. She's lost all of her baby fat, and she's really, really strong.
Here comes Shriver. Again, strokes it long. She had to reach for it.
But she had the play, so I'd have to record that as an error. That's not a forced error. She had the play, overplayed the volley.
We noted that Pam's ranking has fallen to number 9. She has been in the finals of only one tournament this year, and that's the Virginia Slims of Newport. Against Zena Garrison, she lost 6-love, 6-1.
Really be nice if we get into tiebreaker stuff here. I would really like to see a serve and volley player against really a superior ground stroker.
I agree. They have such contrasting styles. It makes it so interesting.
40-15 for Shriver at serve as Sabatini really sprayed the forehand that time. You know, we talk about Sabatini's topspin, the way it dives. Under these conditions where the lights haven't really taken effect and our sun going down, does that make it even tougher, I would think?
This is the most difficult time of evening to be playing a tennis match. Like you said, it's a transition period where you can't really differentiate or perceive the ball coming at you as well because it's right in between dark and light, and the lights on the court have not taken effect yet. I got to tell you, though, that's probably the last thing these two girls are thinking about right now.
It is long, and Pam Shriver holds off on the trigger and holds her serve as Shriver leads it 2-1 here at Manhattan Country Club. We'll be back in a moment.
Again, and so I really thought about it. I looked into other things that I could do in my hometown of Baltimore, and then I got to Wimbledon, the fever struck again, and so I'm back on it. I would like to play a couple more years, preferably 3 more years at least, and then have a look at when I'm 30 and whether or not if I'm really happy and eager to play another year or 2, then I will.
Well, Lisa and I have been talking about the forehand of Pam Shriver's. We cringe when we watch her hit it because it's not her strong suit, and there she made a very easy, unforced error.
Good serve by Sabatini. Good placement that time by Gabriela. Working not only on placement, but on her adding some zip to her serve.
I was going to say, it's not really that important that Gabby get a lot of strong first serves in, as well as she gets a high percentage, maybe even at 3/4 pace, and that she places them well.
Well, it's good to hear that Pam Shriver is going to be around at least 3 more years.
Boy, you decide late to get into the net against Sabatini. That is a terrible decision.
40-15. Shriver, fine ambassador to tennis. Pick up the replay.
Uh-oh, the power's gone out in the entire building. The lights, everything.
Oh, man.
And both players looking for someone to turn to with respect to what do we do now. Pam Shriver. Pam Shriver taking up a collection for coins for the lights. She had her hand out.
But you know, Pete, one of the problems are, if these are metal halide lights, it'll take a certain amount of time to get them back on again. And they're coming back up, some of them now. But the lights on the court will not come on until they cool. They're metal halide. So we could end up having a 15-minute delay here.
That's going to be a big disruption.
Servers.
It's getting quite chilly out here, and I'm wondering if it's going to start to affect Pam Shriver's shoulder. She's had continuous problems with injuries and keeping her shoulder injury-free.
There you get a chance to take a look. Our camera people miss nothing. First double fault. Now maybe her theory is just keep pounding it in there. It doesn't matter. Double fault 5 or 6 times won't hurt.
Oh, excellent volley off the backhand side by Pam Shriver.
What concerns me is Pam Shriver's service return and forehander. If she's got those together, she's going to be tough.
Pam has already tried so many serves out wide to Gabriela's backhand, and it's a effective serve when she gets it in, but it's a low percentage shot because that's where the net is the highest.
Look at this top spin.
Oh,
You love it?
right down on the line. It dives.
You know, Pete, you're absolutely right. It dives. And if you see this, this is what she worked on the entire time, the short angle shot. And Pam's got to get in and cut it off. You can't move laterally on that. You've got to take even some guesses and move forward and catch it high.
Sabatini took ball after ball after ball to that short angle backhand.
Smart practice.
Sends it wide. So it's 40-30. We're in the first set. And if you just joined us, we had about a 20-minute power delay. We're back at it now. Semifinals with the Virginia Slims of Los Angeles.
Oh, no.
A little late getting there.
Oh, no. Boy, you get behind on the serve with Pam, and she's in a little trouble.
Second serve.
Well, that was a beautiful approach shot by Pam Shriver, really deep into Gabby's backhand corner. In fact, it got her so out of position she could hardly make a play on the ball.
So the advantage is Shriver's. Can't get the net cord. And Shriver holds serve. So everybody is on serve, and Pam Shriver goes up 3-2 in the first set here in the Virginia Slims of Los Angeles. Be right back.
Quality.
Lloyd Bridges and his wife taking in the action here at Manhattan Country Club. Lloyd, quite a sportsman, not only a tennis fan, but also an avid skier, snow skier. And there are 2 players as we have Shriver with a 3-2 lead, but on serve.
Boy, Sabatini, when I never forget it in all my life. Everybody kept telling me she's 5'6", 5'7". Then I went out and stood next to her and looked into her navel. And I'm going, how can somebody be 5'6", 5'7"? And then finally they pulled it up. She went a year at 5'10½", being labeled as 5'8". Here's the secret to the game. Can Pam Shriver take the service return and get in there?
That was wide. Drops in. Shriver trying to attack, but that little pooch half volley, shovel volley, doesn't work.
I want you to watch what Pam Shriver does now. You know, Lisa and I are sitting there watching her play. Boy, she gets in there right, but she doesn't go forward. See, she's stopping on that volley. But she'll stay way behind the baseline and then start moving forward. When this lady serves, Gabriela, in comes Pam, she'll start moving forward.
Well, drop shot. Didn't make it. It's a long drop shot, but
You take it, Lisa. I'm so tired of talking about drop shot being a lousy shot.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, she was standing at the baseline when she hit that shot. It's the worst shot selection I've ever seen in my life. I mean, she was so far away. She had no feel, and she missed the ball. So enough said.
call is out.
But see, take a look at the score right now. Those little things are the things that make the difference between winning 60,000 and winning 8,000.
Well, you know, I think Pam Shriver gets a little bit frustrated at the baseline because she knows she's not going to overpower Gabby on the ground strokes, and she knows that she doesn't have anything to stand back there and win the point with. So she tries unusual or strange shots at the wrong times to try and come up with a quick or a cheated point.
Now, she wanted in very badly that time and perhaps shouldn't have.
But why not go in and guess? Go in and go one way or the other, but don't stand in the center because your chances go to 50-50. Stand in the center, you're 0 for 10.
Right off the baseline.
Deuce. Shriver a step late getting there.
So what's interesting to me is that she's not in very far.
Yeah, she's really hanging back a lot further than I had thought she would. And she's such a smart serve and volley player, she knows better.
On the line.
And it's going out, too.
And now we get our first look
Pam is
at a
mad.
possible service break.
She thought that ball was out.
Apparently a lot of people did. Trish Mitchell on the hot seat as far as the fans are concerned.
Well, you'll get a chance to take a look here. I don't know from this angle if you can see it, but pretty close.
Break point here. First one of the match for either player.
Well, now you'll see how seasoned she is, having to serve a second ball.
Now she's really thinking.
Oh, and Sabatini takes it with a forehand, gets the service break, and takes command of the match. Gabriela Sabatini goes up 4-3 here at Manhattan Country Club. Ticket, the world's largest regional sports network.
And we won't have to worry about the electricity.
You beat me to it. And if you just joined us late, we had a 20-minute delay because the lights went off here, but we're at full power now. And Gabriela Sabatini has taken the first bit of command to this match by a service break in that last game. She leads 4 games to 3.
You know, that's what scares me about people who play Sabatini. If you hit the ball hard and get in there, you're not in far enough. And see, if, in my opinion, I would think you'd like a nice topspin approach shot.
I agree with you.
Bounce it high and deep, but don't let her set in on that low ball.
Gabriela had too much time to get into position to hit that shot.
Boy, Gabriela has just opened up a new 16-ounce can of topspin, hasn't she, in this game?
Yeah, but half volleying from the baseline is not one of the all-time great percentage shots if you watch this shot coming up. Now, right here is a little half volley from way back court. Low percentage.
Love.
You know, Dr. Howard Brody did a study on what shot are you most apt to have the racket wrong, and it's the hardest to calculate is the half volley out of all of the shots.
How's that for a little drop shot from the backhand side as Sabatini cruises through the 8th game to take a 5-3 lead.
Well, what I see with Pam is she makes the hard shots look easy as you watch the replay, but watch this shot. That's a hard shot, and she makes it look easy. And Pam makes some easy shots look hard.
Which is hard to do.
That's right. That's right.
Shriver has lost to Sabatini in the last 3 games. Boy, it's tough. It's tough when that topspin dives like that. There's no when to pull back or not. Good eye, Pam. Somebody said.
That's not bad. 21 big ones.
Good serve. 81 doubles championships.
But you know, Pete, when you play the way Pam Shriver plays, you either have to have a good service return to break serve, and you've got to hold your own. And she's already lost her serve once. That takes away her weapon. So it's setting up the next game. If Pam does win this one, she's got to take the service
Get it back.
return, get it in there, and get it back. Now watch this one. I think this is a very difficult shot, which she makes look easy.
Yeah.
Little
It's a beautiful
inside-out
volley.
number.
Well, I was just thinking from Gabby's perspective here, I don't think she seems uptight even if she loses this game because she'll be able to serve out the set when they switch sides.
Uh-oh.
Double.
You know, I'll bet you Gabby is thinking that a lot when she went into the match. She really feels like she only has to break serve once a set and just hold on to her and play conservative tennis.
Well, that's pretty confident for somebody I don't think has had a good serve.
No.
Look out.
Second double fault in the game. 40-30. Shriver allowing Sabatini to get right back in this game.
You know, Vic, I think Gabriela does have a good serve now. I don't think that it's a detriment to her game. And I think she feels so confident on the returns that she flows with it.
Pam struggling with her first serve as well as the second.
I agree. I think Sabatini's serve has really improved, but I don't think it's a weapon.
I hate to keep disagreeing with you, but even if it's not a weapon, as you know, in women's tennis, you don't necessarily need a weapon off the serve, as Chris Evert has demonstrated over the years.
It is wide.
But Lisa, why I say, yeah, that's all good except for someone like Pam Shriver.
I beg your pardon. They call that good. I'm sorry.
Because Pam can take a mediocre serve and win a ton of service return games off of it, because that's her best play, but she hasn't done much with it.
Jeez, boy, look at Pam power that volley. A little frustration coming out there.
It's a nice souvenir for some young person in Hermosa Beach.
She's signaling as a sportsmanlike person that she didn't intend to do that. I also think she was hoping she wouldn't get a ball abuse warning.
Pretty smart, isn't it? I didn't mean it, I didn't mean it, didn't mean it. I don't think Pam, when you start missing the ball by 6, 7 feet, means you're not really too sure what's happening on your serve. Look at that. Look at that.
And then she blisters the forehand topspin to get it back to deuce.
I'll tell you what's so hard about playing against Sabatini is she hits with such excessive topspin that when the ball bounces, it keeps running further away from you. It doesn't give you any time to set up and position yourself for the return.
Yeah, that thing was almost wobbling. It had so much topspin.
Pam talking to herself now about her first serve.
Because she's thinking about losing this set right now.
Well,
Ball is out.
Just for strategic reasons, it's important that Pam holds her serve here because she doesn't want to lose her serve and have Gabriela start serving the second set, put her behind at a disadvantage from the beginning.
She let a 40-love advantage get away. Now she's at add serve, second serve.
Talk to the ball.
Oh, it is a good second serve. Made Sabatini stretch all she could for it, and Pam Shriver stays alive here in the first set at the Manhattan Country Club. The Virginia Slims of Los Angeles. It's 5-4, Sabatini. 2 sets, and she can get rid of the first set if she can hold serve here. She's up 5-4, serving for the set. Will Chamberlain looking on here at Manhattan Country Club. Has been here all day.
I want to give credit to Pam Shriver's second serve. I think she showed some real class being in the hole.
Yeah, she really did pull that one through.
Here she goes.
Good angle volley. Shriver pumped up emotionally, trying to stay in the set.
But boy, she still has trouble getting in there. See, she's not moving forward. Everything's laterally. Get that look.
Right on the line.
Oh, boy.
Got it.
Long.
Well, she's 0 for 2 in the drop shot category.
Should we signal her not to do it again?
Not it. Oh, don't, please. Oh, please don't do that. Not when you're down 4 or 5 and up 15-love against the opponent on the serve.
I tell you, even though she hit a bad drop shot, Gabby sure hit a beautiful approach shot.
Shriver trying to crowd, but missed with the backhand.
Well, she's got a great approach shot, though, doesn't she? And she can take that. Pam Shriver can take that thing. Watch her go forward.
Yes.
But she's not moving forward. I don't get it.
Yeah, time and time again, she's picking them up off her shoelaces. She needs to be 1 or 2 steps further in.
It is wide. Boy, that top shot gives you a good perspective of the movement of both players. Missed that one completely. Yeah.
Not me. I still say you go in and guess a few.
I agree. I think she's got the right strategy. She just needs to come up with a few more points.
Double set point for Gabriela Sabatini. Gabriela Sabatini now just 1 set away from returning to the finals of the Virginia Slims of Los Angeles.
And still hasn't lost a set in the tournament.
That's right. Everybody was thinking because she hadn't played a tournament since Wimbledon that it would be a disadvantage. But I think she's rested and refreshed herself, and she's really psyched up to play tennis.
Yeah, you get that, hey, I can handle you, dude.
There's a good example of serve and volley.
I remind you, that's exactly what happened on the first point of the first set. It was absolutely a carbon copy. Serve and put away the volley.
That's right. Although on the second point, let's see if that's a repeat as well.
Back at you. She got a groove there.
That's tough to do because that ball is low. She's playing it over the center stripe, but it's a very difficult shot to hit.
Well, I think Pam has to put that first set behind her now and start fresh at the start of the second set.
Gee,
Good second serve. Made all of that possible. Not that that wasn't a good shot, but the second serve was a good one.
She makes the tough shots look easy. Look at this. Give me a break, Pam. Last time I saw that, somebody mishit it off of a spaghetti racket.
Shriver was there with the answer. So after losing the first set, she steamrolls through Sabatini in the first game of the second set. Pam Shriver trying to get respect back here in the Virginia Slims of Los Angeles. Be right back. Bryce and Vic Braden back with you live at Manhattan Country Club. Semifinals of the Virginia Slims of Los Angeles. Pam Shriver down a set to Gabriela Sabatini. But up a game in the second set. Sabatini looking for her 4th championship of the year. Pam Shriver looking to make the finals for the second time on the season. Only the second time.
Quiet, please.
Well, that was just a loose error on Pam's part. Gabriela's first serve was really not all that strong. Pam didn't make up her mind what to do on it.
Big topspin backhand.
Boy, Thomas, look at those stats. Unforced errors on Shriver, 15. But that's the nature of her game, too. She just goes for broke, and she's right now broke.
Well, she's definitely a hit-or-miss player, but she's got to keep going for them because she doesn't have anything else to fall back on.
flat whiffed.
I think the lights went out a second time on that one.
Yeah, but the electric box was in her head. Jeez. What's going on there? Hey, wait a minute, she says. Watch this one, folks. Here it comes. I'll just juice it right down the line. Trick.
Somebody cut some holes in her strings there? Or?
Ooh, somebody's using flash.
Nice deep approach shot that time by Pam Shriver.
Somebody's using flash photography up in the stand. Tragic.
That always amazes me. Like a flash from up in the stand is going to help you.
Oh, Pam was really hitting that ball.
All right, this is Pam Shriver's first break point of the match. Look at the intensity. Ooh, she wants it.
Oh, no. When you run out of court, you just throw that thing back high and deep and get back in. I've watched McEnroe hit that thing back 17 miles per hour. You don't go for a broke shot. Gabriela's only going to the net every other April.
Oh, fine play at the net by Pam Shriver.
Vic, I don't know if you agree with me, but I think that Gabriela should actually start to venture into the net a little bit more and start putting more pressure on Pam. She's won the first set. She should be dominating right now.
You bet. And she's had every opportunity, but she's winning, I think, she thinks her way. But I think you're absolutely right. She can't let Pam stay back there and experiment.
Shriver, a second break opportunity.
Oh.
Missed that one big time.
Oh, goodness gracious. She hit the Dove bar machine on that one.
And believe me, Vic knows where the Dove bar machine is. Loaded that backhand. Well out.
You know, Pam just grabbed her shoulder there. I wonder if she's experiencing a little pain.
I don't know, but she's had every opportunity, but guess who has the advantage?
Yep. Sabatini.
And you gotta hand it to her.
Pam Shriver squanders 2 break opportunities. She may not get them again.
Boy, I think that's the point, Pete. She may not get them again, you know, and when you're playing somebody like Sabatini, who doesn't make a lot of mistakes, she relies upon you making mistakes. If you're going to make them for her, she'll take them.
Well, it took her to the 12th game to get a break opportunity. The first one.
Hard shot playing across sharp cross court from a high volley position. It's not easy, which is towards the backhand grip. It turns the racket even a few degrees further off, so you have a tendency to hit wide into the alley.
That 1978 U.S. Open final was the only Grand Slam final that Pam Shriver has experienced. It's what happened early. She's had semifinals, 4 of them.
Well, she spoke earlier about possibly retiring at the age of 30, and in my own point of view, I think I'd be real disappointed that she didn't feel like she had achieved the potential that everybody expected of her. I think when she was only 16 years old and made it to the finals of the U.S. Open, everybody else thought that we had a superstar on our hands. And she has been a superstar, but she's never quite broken the top 4.
Well, I said earlier, I hate to see her go away because she is such a great ambassador for the game of tennis. Wonderful disposition, intelligent, bright young woman. It's out.
Boy, that's what practice does for you over and over. We've said it about 4 times now, but we all sat here and watched her take that practice session where she hit short angle balls because she knew that Pam Shriver was going to hit and come on in just like this, and she was going to do just that. And Pam would do that, and then she would win in straight sets.
Sabatini, I think, knows the importance of what's happening here as Pam has got a little bit of a delay. She picked something off the court and is taking it to somebody. I don't know what it was.
It looked like a moth.
That was a nice gift to give somebody in the stands.
But the moth came back. It likes her.
Thank you. Sabatini, 30 all here, knows if she gets a break, she might be on her way.
Gabby's 5, 6 feet behind the baseline.
Double fault.
Pam said something she didn't want to say after double faulting the 4th time. And now she's praying for forgiveness for what she said.
So it's a service break opportunity for Sabatini. Second serve for Shriver. 1-1 in the second. Oh, she volleyed with a backhand to the corner, but Sabatini responded with a big backhand, and Sabatini has broken here in the second set and leads 2-1 in the Virginia Slims of Los Angeles. Following tonight's match, it's playoff time, and the Kentucky Fried Chicken Summer Pro Basketball League exclusive coverage of the semifinal round comes your way tonight at 11 on Prime Ticket, the world's largest regional sports network. And of course, after this semifinal match, we'll have the match that we taped earlier in the day between Martina Navratilova and Zina Garrison. So much more fine tennis headed your way tonight before we get to the basketball.
Well, Pete, at least Pam is always exciting to watch. It doesn't matter. This lady will come in when you don't think she's going to come in. You think she's down, she'll throw in some aces. You think she's going to win easily. She double faults twice, but she's exciting. And this lady says, I don't care how exciting she is. I want to make sure she comes in second place in a field of 2.
15 love.
Pam really getting on herself now.
Well, it is an unforced error because the serve is kind of soft, and so she's not under any pressure to make the play. All right.
Tough shot by Sabatini.
I must say, Pam Shriver was not anticipating having to throw up a lob on this date. Nice play, and she's following your suggestion. Please.
Sings a forehand.
She caught Pam wrong-footed on that, too. Pam is a big girl, and she gets around the court pretty well, but not quite that well.
You suppose Sabatini has sort of an unwritten law? You do not come in until you're up a break?
I wish she gave it that much thought.
Here she comes.
Boy, that's nice to see. That is nice to see. And You know, when somebody plays the way Sabatini does, it just kills you they don't come in more because they get so many golden opportunities because they hit so well. And they push people back with the topspin. And topspin's hard to hit with passing shots. But she already is a very wealthy person, not coming in. But, geez, you just bleed for him to come in.
She's a good athlete. She hasn't won a Grand Slam, so my question to you. Shriver wins in the forehand volley. Is, if she's going to bring her game up a notch to be a Grand Slam event winner, doesn't the volley and coming to the net have to come along with that?
Well, she absolutely has to come into the net a lot more. I think the flaw is that Gabriela does not believe that she's very good at the net. I mean, as we've all witnessed, she's very good at the net. She's won every time she's been up there. But she has to feel the self-confidence to feel comfortable and have the instinct at the net that a serve and volleyer has.
And it's almost as if we've seen here tonight that she's not even going to attempt that strategy until she feels that she's got at least one service break in her back pocket.
Well, it's so easy for a base player that has as penetrating a ground strokes as Gabriela has to just sit back on her laurels and stay at the comfortable baseline where she does and plays her best tennis.
It's called a fault.
Thank goodness.
Well, you look at Sabatini, there's still a lot of years for growth and improvement. She's only 19. Got it. Oh, that ball just went in the tank.
Well, you can see here that Pam put in a nice first serve, but again, she's caught behind. She doesn't make a strong first volley, and Gabriela has the whole court to pass her. I think Pam looks just a step slow tonight. I don't know what you think, Vic. She's not getting in behind her volleys and not making a penetrating enough first volley.
Boy, she's a little upset. But I think it's true. I think her first step is slow. I don't think she's moving forward on her volley. She's hit some beautiful shots, but beautiful doesn't do it. Consistency does.
Sabatini missed an opportunity to take complete control of this match. Back at deuce.
You can see there that Pam has a couple of bands around her thighs, and that's not because she's injured as much as she feels psychologically better with them there, more or less as a preventative measure. She's been having a little bit of strain in her groin. I don't know if that's accounting for some of her slow movement tonight. There they are. Up close and personal.
And we're back to deuce.
Boy, Sabatini just holds on, waits, lets Pam commit herself, then takes her pick. Boy, you hit a shot where Sabatini can just set back like this. Sabatini says, eat your heart out, baby. God, she's good at that.
Sabatini runs it down, but pushes it long.
You know, Gabriela has really deceptive ground strokes. Like you said, she can hold the ball and then swing it either cross-court or down the line at the last second, and it's so difficult to anticipate or read her shots.
That first serve still not consistent for Shriver. It was only 44% of the first set. Pam Shriver stays alive. A crisp forehand volley makes a statement. She still has some more tennis to play. We'll return to Manhattan Country Club in a moment. Shriver reacting to the crowd, trying to start a wave here at Manhattan. All right, we mentioned as we went along, there we go. In the course of the event here tonight, that Pam Shriver has been bothered by injury as the wave continues here at Manhattan. Before the match, Lisa caught up with her and asked her how the injuries have affected her career.
Everyone has to deal with little setbacks, and sure, when I was 17, I would have loved to have not had the shoulder injury, because that started to really help hurt my confidence with how much I could serve, and I've always felt my arm has been fragile since then. But you know, days like today where you serve about 15 aces, you come off the court and you feel like your arm's never had a bad day in its life. But actually, more than my arm, in the last 5 or 6 years, I've had some chronic leg strains that really just come from pounding around on hard courts and doing a lot of lunging and stretching, as all serve and volleyers do. And really, if I'm going to keep going for the next couple of years, I've got to get a little bit stronger in my leg. Not a little bit, a lot stronger in my legs, because I've been told I have weak legs.
Back live, Pam Shriver. You know, after a practice session this afternoon, she had her elbow all wrapped up in ice. I guess that's a preventive measure.
That's right. She does that after every match. She ices her shoulder, her elbow, her legs. She looks like she belongs in a hospital after practicing instead of on a tennis court.
Well, right now, if she's going to miss that soft second serve, I think she's in deep, deep trouble. I don't think that you can come back having that set up. Those are opportunities missed.
Well, I think the score indicates that she's in pretty deep trouble anyhow, because she's already down a first set and a break in the second set, so she's going to have to do something different in order to get back into it.
She knew immediately as she stepped toward the net she was in trouble, and she was.
But why not guess, you see? This is what I'm saying. Look, when you get in here, she's 0 for 45 on this play, so why not go one way or the other?
Good point. Standing in the middle gets you nothing. 30-15. Sabatini trying to go up 4 games to 2.
Boy, you got to throw that approach shot deep, and if you don't throw it deep, I thought that forehand right there was very nice. It put Sabatini back. It gave her the chance for the approach shot coming in. And look at the shot down the line. Goodness gracious. Super.
That being a beautiful point, I think it's interesting to note the angle that the camera's getting on the court, because it gives you a great sense of where the players are and what's transpiring in the middle of the point. You can see here Pam trying to run Gabriela around, coming into the net again, a deep approach. She's got the whole court open, makes the volley.
40-30. Oh, junked the backhand. And the game goes to Sabatini, and then she goes up 4 games to 2. I bet Pam would love to have that backhand return over again.
Well, I don't think Pam's going to feel very good, but she's going to have dreams tonight of about the 40 opportunities she's had to win points and not able to do it. You got to remember, she's getting ready now for the biggest event in America, and that's the U.S. Open, and that's not a very good omen for her.
That's right. And the U.S. Open is really her tournament, too. That's where she first came onto the scene. Courts suit her style.
People love her there.
Well, New York. New York people love everybody.
Unforced errors, 21-14.
Gabriela really torques her body on every single ground stroke.
And the winner for Sabatini. It was like she's on clay there, grunting with every stroke.
Well, I tell you right now, Sabatini could just about put the lid on the coffin if she wins the next points, because she's just run Pam Shriver all over the state. Great luck, isn't it?
The intensity of a champion.
Nope. Talk about the U.S. Open. Gabriela has come to like that setting as well. It's her only finals appearance in a Grand Slam event.
I'm really surprised, too. I would have thought that the French Open, the slow red clay, would have been her best surface. I was expecting her to do better there this year.
No question, clay is her surface.
I give credit to Pam Shriver there. That was really a deep shot. But, you know, everybody counted Martina Navratilova out at the U.S. Open. Said, you know, she never can win it. She chokes it. Well, I want to tell you, she came back and won it a ton. Same as Lindell. Lindell couldn't pull it off either. But he came back. You just got to keep taking those little weak links out of your game, and all of a sudden, you're an animal.
No, long.
Well, when I see people who can only underspin, I think it's so dangerous, because you got to have a weapon. I remember when Martina was hitting underspin and having trouble, and she learned how to topspin. She had alternatives. Suddenly, she had the greatest record. The very next year, the very best record in her history.
Yeah, every once in a while, you just have to have that cannon, and if you don't have it, you're shortchanging yourself.
You know, Dr. Keating and I did a study on variables you had to control topspin versus underspin. You had to control 5 times the number of variables to control underspin that it takes to control topspin.
I would have thought it would be the other way around. Then again, that's why I'm sitting here. Just beyond reach again.
I'll tell you, Sabatini turns around and gives you the stare, baby. She hit that ball, and Pam could not make the play. What Sabatini run. Boy, you got to hand it to her. And she just juices this one, and she just looks her right in the eye.
She's bouncing around back there. She knows she can get 2 here, and she'll be serving for the match. Comes. And Shriver doesn't agree with the call. Kind of a weak overhead, but it counts. Maybe that's what she's afraid of, is the overhead.
Boy, that was a broomstick overhead if I've ever seen one. Give me a break. The elbow didn't even bend. This is a trick shot. That's not an overhead.
It is. Actually, she hits it sidearm, kind of a Jimmy Connors special, only not quite as good. Although you have to remember, it is dark above the lights and probably difficult to judge on its way down.
That could make your elbow stiffen.
Break out the ice.
Another break point for Sabatini. Oh, it won't go. And Gabriela Sabatini in a solid position here to advance for the finals for the 2nd year in a row. She'll be serving for the match. Back in a moment. Gabriela getting behind Pam Shriver right now. I want to keep this going a little bit longer. Way long on the service return. Shriver trying to keep low. Just sent the racket hit high. Sabatini now just 2 points away from returning to the championship match. She lost in 3 sets to Chris Everett a year ago. Long. Pam Shriver in game 12 missed 2 opportunities to break serve, and that has really been the story, or in Pam's case the unstory. She didn't get it done, has not broken Sabatini all night. And floats that way long, and we've got double match point for Gabriela Sabatini. Shriver hits it long, and that's it. 6-4, 6-2. And for the second year in a row, Gabriela Sabatini is headed toward the finals here of the Virginia Slims of Los Angeles. We'll return here to center court at Manhattan Country Club. Sabatini a winner in straight sets.